The Rewatchables is brought to you by the Ringer Podcast Network, where you can find The Watch with CR himself, Chris Ryan.
That's right, with Andy Greenwald as well.
Where you can find Higher Learning.
Yes, with Rachel Lindsay as well.
And the Midnight Boys.
Pew Pew.
Pew Pew.
There you go.
Pew fucking Pew.
Pew fucking Pew, Bill. That's right.
My name is Bill Simmons. We are going to do our 17th Tom Cruise movie on the Rewatchables. He's like Barry Bonds in 2002. He's just lapping the field.
Oh, a little bit of that.
A classic. Minority Report is next.
Chief Detective John Anderton set up the perfect crime force.
People trust you, John.
But now,
I have a warrant in my pocket that says murder. Seems you've been left out of the loop, John.
he has to run from it.
He set me up!
On June 21st, you can't hide.
Scan the entire area, read anything with eyes and a heartbeat.
So get ready to run. Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg, Minority Report.
Rough landing. Have to work on that.
This film not yet rated. June 21st, only in theaters.
All right, Minority Report. CR has been floating this and suggesting this for a long, long time. He's wearing a Masters hat today to try to really capture the magic. Is this it's the master of his domain?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
that's right.
If you had to pick, is this a Tom Cruise movie or a Spielberg movie?
I think it's a Spielberg movie, but I don't think it works if it's not Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Yeah, but the ingenuity of it, the vision of it, the creative flair, I think in some ways it's one of Steven Spielberg's most swagged out movies. He is doing stuff in this just to amuse himself, just because he can. It's like watching him play left-handed, just like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do all my coverage with camera movement. I'm gonna go up a building. I'm gonna jump off the building. We're gonna do all this stuff about the future, but we're not even gonna like explain how it works. We're just gonna run right through it. It's so fast. It's so energetic. It just feels Spielberg to me.
What do you think, Van?
It's definitely a Spielberg movie, and it's around the same time that Spielberg was messing around with the darker side of Spielberg stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing this, he's doing AI, and then even War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise again is a little bit of a darker Spielberg take. He's getting a little bit more intense with it. And in those movies, to Chris's point, is when he's really showing off how technically brilliant he is just to build tension using the camera and his mastery as a director.
Yeah, it's almost like he's like Jordan just being like, "You think I can't do this? What's your nitpick now?" And then he would just come up with something to
He
shove
comes
it down
out of
everyone's throat.
98. I mean, at the end of Saving Private Ryan, and he's done Schindler's List, he's done Amistad, he's done these heavy movies.
Heavier movies, sure.
He does
I mean,
AI.
Amistad's not that heavy.
No?
Well,
Yeah?
maybe not for you, Bill.
You have the comedy cut?
I would say
The
Amistad.
Apatow cut?
I like to think of Bill on a Saturday, like, I want a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
Let's just throw on
I don't
Amistad.
know. Amistad's all right. Deleted scenes are good. No, Amistad and Munich, I think, are two of the heavier movies.
But
And that's
that-
where we get into
Schindler's List, yeah.
Schindler's List and Save Your Private Ryan.
We've actually done a couple of these now where,
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't done AI, but like he does AI, which is sort of this also extension of Kubrick, right? Because Kubrick was originally going to do artificial intelligence. But he does Minority Report and Catch Me If You Can. We've also done Rewatchables. The Terminal, but War of the Worlds, like he's just working. It just seems like
Yeah.
he's like, what I want to do is get into the gym and try this and try that and try this.
I do feel like this is the tail end of whatever crazy all-time apex he had, right? Probably tailing off around the mid-2000s a little bit. He's getting older. I think this is the most creative movie he made during this whole stretch, though. Even the way, like, the color correction, like the stuff my guy Janusz Kaminski did.
And he told Janusz, I want this to be the ugliest movie I've ever made.
Yeah, it's like bleached out. It just really like
There's a little tension in there, though.
distinct.
There's a little tension in there when you watch the film between traditional Spielberg visuals and how this movie is probably supposed to look and supposed to feel. Like there's a version of this movie, if it's directed by like David Fincher or someone like that with a little bit of a darker palette and a more clear aesthetic and like narrative, kind of thought about the MILF that's a lot darker and that's a lot more intense. But you can look and see the Spielbergian notes throughout the movie. There's like little wacky parts that pull their in some of the chases where they're really intense. Then there's the part where the women are the contortionists. There's little parts where he pulls you out of being a little bit too dour about what's going on and reminds you that you're watching a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah, one of the things I was wondering is there's that whole new generation of directors that come in the mid-90s, right? That next class that's a little reminiscent of what he had in the 70s, and PTA and Fincher, all these dudes kind of coming up. And this feels like the most Fincher-y type of movie that he could have made. And I really wonder if like Fincher either inspired him or made him competitive to be like, oh, everyone thinks Fincher's a genius. Like, I'm going to fucking out Fincher him.
I wonder also whether or not audiences had shown an openness to a certain level of grime, like a little bit more dirt, a little bit more of a smudge on the lens. Like the room isn't tidy. Like if people are a little bit more fucked up. Like it was definitely in the air in that 90s into the early 2000s turn, I think, cinematically.
Internet, we're starting to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is going to be part of our lives for the rest of our lives now. Where is this going?
Well, and then the crucial, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I mean, I'm saying like a little bit more of the dystopian stuff is starting to take over sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know, this is post
9/11.
Post 9/11, post The Matrix. So it's, you're envisioning.
I can't wait to touch.
Hey, but that's a big part of this film. When I watch it, I'm like, hey, they got that right.
Yeah,
this movie has some really interesting futurist.
I can't wait to talk about
to
that.
where they get a couple things right. But I'm saying maybe Spielberg and other people are looking at it. It's like the high concept sci-fi that you're looking at now is a little darker. Not that didn't exist before, but people were actually going to it and craving it a little bit. Didn't know where things.
I
were
have
going.
7 genres happening all at the same time in this movie. It's a Spielberg movie. It's a Cruise movie. And I think CR is right. Cruise is essential to this, which we'll get into. It's a sci-fi futuristic thriller. It's a cop movie. It's a fugitive movie. It's like a psychic, how much do we know about the future? Do you believe in this shit movie? And it's a free will versus determination movie, which is probably like the biggest theme in the movie is how much can you control of what happens?
Yeah. Can I add 2 more things to that?
Let's do it. I already have 7.
I think it's his Hitchcock homage. So much Vertigo, North by Northwest stuff happening in this, especially North by Northwest. All the chases, all the man wrongly accused on the run stuff is right out of Hitchcock, some of Hitchcock's best movies. And then it's essentially a Philip K. Dick thing, which I don't think I really knew at the time because I hadn't really read a ton of his stuff in 2002. But a lot of the side characters, a lot of the conception of the future, of us being constantly surveilled, of us all being hooked up on our devices and all being mildly addicted to drugs is all out of Philip K. Dick. And he obviously wrote the...
Are you a Phil Dick guy?
I am a Phil Dick guy. Yeah, I actually went on a little Phil Dick run recently.
You Phil Dicked it up?
Yeah.
I got a category later for the Dick lovers out there.
Well, so the things from that book are he has a pre-crime police department that apprehends criminals. He has the precogs, and it's in DC in 2054, which, by the way, Van, is now less than 30 years away.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking, are we closer to the actual imagining of...
It's a great question.
Of the world in 2054, or are we nowhere near?
Do you feel disappointed? I feel like we're so far away from the cars and the traffic, how they manage that in here.
Oh, God. Yeah.
We're like 7...
we can't even build a train.
We at least have Waymo, but yeah, we can't build half that stuff.
I had to stop myself from like legitimately following Waymos in the neighborhood. I would see a Waymo and
They're freaky.
Kalika goes, there's nobody inside of the Waymo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
I see it all the time when I'm walking around.
Ghost
and
Waymo?
Every time I notice, I'm just like, there's nobody driving that
you
car.
just want to follow a Waymo for
Yeah.
just like one block and see if the Waymo is up to the task.
I know.
I never see anybody riding in the back of the Waymo.
Sometimes you want to throw the Waymo a curveball, just like run out in front of it.
Does the Waymo know?
I always think about that.
You know what I'm saying? But you also don't want to be the one guy that dies like fucking
Getting
with the
hit by
Waymo.
Waymo.
It's
Yeah.
like, what happened to this guy? Oh, he was testing the Waymo, and the Waymo said, "Fuck you."
I mean, the problem with the Waymos, from what I've seen walking around, is they're better drivers than all the actual drivers.
Yeah, but you need basically to hit a moment where there are more Waymos than regular drivers because otherwise they're just like toddling along.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I think right now they're more in the way than they are anything
I agree.
else.
You're behind a Waymo. You're like,
when a
man.
Waymo doesn't take that last like you can go on the left here. You go,
Yeah.
go Waymo.
But consider the Waymo though. My great grandfather passed away in 1987.
Yeah.
If I could have a conversation with him and I could say, Big Papa,
This would be the first thing you told them?
I would be like, yo, I'm in a place right now where there are cars that drive on the street with no drivers and they drive people around.
Yeah.
He couldn't even imagine that. He was born in 1900. It's nuts to think that the Waymo is here and it's not that big of a deal.
I have
to
that
us.
every once in a while with my mom where she'll be like, "What are you doing?" when I'm looking at my phone. And I'm like, well, I was looking at a cat and now I'm looking at British Parliament. She's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm just like, honestly, you just go like that and then something else comes.
Yeah.
And she just, yeah.
Craig, where does your generation stand on Waymo?
I think honestly we're all in. A lot of my friends take Waymo. It's cheaper. They're they're doing that Uber thing where they're flooding the market with cheap prices so that everybody uses it.
Have you had like, oh my God, I'm going to die in a Waymo moment?
I admittedly have not taken one.
Okay.
Oh, you have never been in
My
a Waymo
son, Ben
before.
Simmons, actually signed up early for Waymo and was using it before we knew what was going on. And we found out and we were freaked out. I was like, there's nobody in the car. It's just you.
Well, they
He's
can't
like,
go on the
it's
freeway
great.
yet. They don't do freeway.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just driving around in the neighborhoods.
He's like, sometimes I get in the passenger seat. Sometimes I sit in the back seat. There's nobody else in it. But apparently, he said some people are like getting busy in the Waymo.
Obviously.
And you immediately lose your Waymo pass.
If you're in the Waymo, the first thing you're gonna think is, yo, this is the fuck train. Get on.
Yeah.
And so, but they're watching you in the Waymo. The Waymo sex tapes are gonna be so crazy.
Yeah, whoever hacks into the Waymo sex tapes, it's going to be.
Have you seen some of like the Waymo attacks where like people have destroyed Waymos or tagged them or like
rear end them
trying to
intentionally?
surf on top of them and
Yeah.
stuff?
Oh yeah.
It's when like
I haven't
the
seen
real
it,
like
but-
repo man of LA comes out.
Yeah.
They start.
I think it's going to be a big summer for people torturing Waymos. Anyway, back to Minority Report.
Is that a prediction?
Yeah, prediction coming up next. So
I'll tell you why Waymo is getting tagged up.
Spielberg was really, really passionate about figuring out 2054. So I'll do some of the research stuff now. Consulted scientists, invited 15 experts to Santa Monica for a 3-day think tank where they talked about whatever the future is going to be with architects. Douglas Copeland from Gen X was there, the guy who wrote that. Computer scientists, all kinds of people. They made a 2054 Bible, which was an 80-page guide
I was looking for it online. I don't
that
think you
had
can find
all
it.
the aspects of their future world. It is exactly should be a PDF or an Apple book. And then he said to Roger Ebert, I wanted all the toys to come true someday. I want there to be a transportation system that doesn't emit toxins into the atmosphere and a newspaper that updates itself. The internet is watching us now. If they want to, they can see what sites you visit. In the future, television will be watching us and customizing itself to what it knows about us. The thrilling thing is that will make us feel like we're part of the medium. The scary thing is we'll lose our right to privacy. An ad will appear in the air around us talking directly to us.
Facts.
All that shit is fucking happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he said this in 2002 and he was dead on.
Here's the best part about what he did, though. Does all this research. He imagines the world. He figures all this stuff out with scientists. He has a Bible. But within the realm of the movie, it all happens as part of the action. They never stop and say, we invented self-driving cars in 2034 and they became perfected
Right.
in 2041. And this, they don't even have toxins. I didn't even think that they didn't have toxins. It didn't even occur to me until you said that. But I was thinking about when Anderton in this movie is first on the run and he's walking through the mall and all the ads are starting to pop at him. That's the first time you see the curated, personalized advertising stuff. And it's 5 seconds, but you're like, holy shit, what is going on in the future? What is going on in this world? Now, it's very different to watch this movie in 2025 and be like what you're saying within touching distance of all of this stuff basically being true, but honestly, none of the good stuff that seems to come out of Minority Report Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no,
Like,
I do. I also think that the movie is like one of the best parts of the movie is the world building that it does, right? It does it all very softly, but very definitely. Like he's walking through there and you realize, oh, there's nowhere he can go and not be recognized.
Yes.
How is he going to get around that? And then that sets up, to me, the most disgusting, but also the most fascinating scene in the movie where obviously when he gets his eyes replaced, which is just like that's Spielberg just going like, you know me for making kids fly on bicycles.
Mhm.
How much can I disgust you and disturb you in one sequence?
Right.
But it all happens seamlessly. It doesn't. There's never a point where the movie seems like there's a specific point that it's trying to make to you.
I like that they use DC, and he talks about this where sometimes in the futuristic movies it just has no link to what things look like now. So they use DC, and they still have a lot of the same landmarks in DC. But it's just kind of a twisted futuristic version of it, which I thought was smart. The stuff that I thought worked, and tell me if I left anything out, for futuristic stuff that just was cool. The police helicopters.
Yeah.
The little.
Yeah. Like I feel like we might have those 29 years from now. The eye recognition, that's already happening. You could walk into.
That's clear.
Yeah, that's clear. That's
Oh,
going
that
into
sure
a
is,
Clipper
yeah.
game. That's just staring in, and they know who you are.
They make you scan your retinas to watch the Clippers?
They when you walk in, they scan your face and whatever, and you don't have a ticket.
I didn't hear about
serious?
that.
Yeah.
Are you serious? To watch the
100%.
fucking Clippers?
Yeah. Listen, I don't have to wait in a line. They could have all my stuff. It's 10 extra
you
minutes of my life.
I feel like you got to have a championship to scan my face. I'm not letting the Clippers scan my face.
What about making the Western Finals?
Well, maybe they
Okay.
will. But they can't. Come on, man.
Well,
you gotta have more.
They
more
have my
banners up
face,
there.
and they can scan all they want out of it. What's the drug in this? Clarion?
Neuronin.
Neuronin?
Yeah.
As 2054 fentanyl, basically?
Yeah.
Like this
Heroin,
new drug
yeah.
out of nowhere? Yeah. It's
But a
like-
little bit also, I think, supposed to be numbing and hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very Philip K. Dick thing. He has lots of. I just read a book of his where it's like everybody is taking a drug and looking at a little model of reality, and then they go into the reality.
Wow, you have some Phil Dick energy today.
Like
Phil Dicking it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna the drug part of it, because in his actual life, obviously, but the drug part of it is always a staple part of the future for him.
Yeah, I think he got down a little bit.
He did.
Phil?
Yeah, I think Phil.
He liked to get wet.
He liked to get wet. He liked to get wet.
FaceTime is in this movie, basically.
Uh-huh.
Giant, awesome, clear TVs. They saw that coming. I liked how they did the highways, even though I don't know how realistic that is, but the car that leaves your place and bounces in and suddenly you're driving. And then we talked about earlier, but the targeted virtual sponsors in a mall.
Mhm.
I do feel like that's probably where we're heading. I mean, we're already seeing that where your phone can hear you talk about something and all of a sudden you're served the Instagram ad.
Yeah. And also the idea of everything that you do coming with a 15-second ad as like payment for it. So you think about like when you're signing up for Wi-Fi on a flight, you got to watch the ad for 15 seconds. The way that the mall looks in Minority Report is essentially what the international terminal of LAX looks like. Like when you're sitting there, there's like 15 giant billboards, just like you really do feel like your brain is getting melted by advertising in there.
And also in the movie, there's so much that's automated and stuff. There's so much the future it's so regulated for you that in a weird way, the human interaction, the stakes in the film, they're raised. And I feel like that kind of now is like when you are walking through the world and so much of what you're doing is like in this digital world that like when you actually talk to a person, it almost feels like the stakes are higher or like what you're saying is a little bit more important. Because there are parts in the movie where it feels like it's technology against him. But then when he gets with Agatha, it feels like, okay, there's a person on the other side of it. Now it's about how her essential human gift, which is like all mystical and ethereal, can help him out of his situation against the like technology that he's up against, man-made stuff.
I can't wait to talk to you about Agatha. Cruise and Spielberg together, 0 movies up until this point. Started developing this in 97. Mission Impossible 2 ran over. AI ran over. they were basically like the two guys who kept saying they would have dinner together, and it never happened. Yeah, no, we're gonna have dinner, and then all of a sudden, it happened. But Spielberg was supposed to do Rain Man, ended up doing Indy 3 instead, and then it finally happened.
My favorite indie.
This movie has the following production companies in it: DreamWorks, Amblin Entertainment, 20th Century Fox, Cruise Wagner Productions, and Blue Tulip, which is Jan Dubant's company.
Oh, right, because
you're a big Jan Dubant guy.
Well, who is it? Yeah.
But Cruise and Spielberg, they took 15% of the gross to keep the.
This is the Spielberg.
The old
bet
Spielberg
on yourself.
trick. He's a big bet on yourself guy. They wanted to keep the budget under $100 million.
It's interesting. I actually learned about that entire method of getting paid through the career of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Because someone will go, yeah, Tom Cruise made $100 million for War of the Worlds. I'd be like, how is that possible? And then that's when you understand the breakdown of his production company and how you can make it and splits and back end and all of that stuff. I had no clue about any of that stuff until he kind of mainlined it.
And this is kind of, for what it's worth, part of the reason why film budgets now seem so out of whack is people get a lot of their money up front now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit less dependability.
Because the studios figured out ways to cheat people out of some of these point stuff.
So this movie costs $100 million, makes $400 million or whatever.
And they're like, it only made $5 million.
Right.
Because we had to spend this much on this. Cruise's director list, this was Pete Cruise. So I'm going to do tiers. This is just everybody he works with from Tony Scott on and we'll go like past Cocktail. Scorsese, Spielberg, Kubrick. De Palma, Sidney Pollack, Barry Levinson, Ron Howard. Oliver Stone, Tony Scott, Rob Reiner. PTA, Neil Jordan, Cameron Crowe, and John Woo. And then his next four after this movie were Michael Mann, Ed Zwick, Spielberg, and Abrams. Tom Cruise laying down the blueprint, and now Leo followed it, and then Chalamet is like, "That's what I'm going to do too," and that's the move. I feel like CR would whore himself out a couple times.
This is how you run your acting career. If you're lucky enough to be like, if you just say, "I trust the best directors working right now," like you will probably
and they want to work
really
with you.
Career.
Well, I mean, if you get to the position that he got to, you can,
But like I'm saying, like he could. And he kind of spends the most recent act of his career working mostly with Macquarie and mostly on big blockbusters right now.
Yeah.
He's going to do an Inarritu movie next after Mission Impossible. That will be like his return to like film or whatever. But his run here is inspirational, I think, for anybody who ever achieves like any notable amount of success and has the opportunity to do
It's coming off Eyes Wide Shut, Mission 2, and Vanilla Sky. The next three after this, Last Samurai, Collateral, Oprah's Couch.
Oh, yeah.
War of the Worlds.
Who directed Oprah's Couch?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, this is the time frame we're moving into. He's broken up with Nicole Kidman. Cruise is just about to get his weird on. We don't know this yet in Minority Report. Is this the official end of Tom Cruise's prime right here? 2002.
Yeah.
He's bringing still no baggage really whatsoever into Minority Report.
Not only no baggage, I think we've talked about it before. There's an interview with him and Sway. I know I've brought this up on this podcast before, where Sway actually looks at Tom Cruise and goes, "You know what? For all of your stardom, you're just one of the celebrities that just seems like they get it. You just get it. Like you were this Herculean everyman."
What year is this?
This is maybe like, this might be Mission Impossible 2 promo run right here, because it's MTV. And he's talking to him, and Tom Cruise is just not just the biggest movie star in the world, but he's like America's nice guy. And there's no edge. Of course, there are rumors about his personal life, but all of that stuff doesn't really matter that much. We don't really have an understanding of Scientology as an actual thing. We don't know what it is. And then, boom, like 4 or 5 years later, there's like this Anakin Skywalker turn where he's berating Matt Lauer in the morning on the morning show. He's jumping on couches.
What year was that?
It was right mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that for me, probably the real drop off, even though Mission Impossible 3 I actually love, but is probably
that's Hoffman, right?
Yeah, that's Hoffman.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
I like that one too.
And he makes the Tropic Thunder cameo
But that's 08.
That's 08. But
That's
I'm saying
that's him trying to be a cool guy.
The
again.
hardest drop off for me is Night and Day, because Night and Day is a movie he tried to sell really hard, like as if it was going to be this giant blockbuster, and I think it was a disappointment. And then after that, it's like Ghost Protocol, Rock of Ages, Jack Reacher, Oblivion. It starts to
And he's basically only Mission Impossible is how we want to consume Tom Cruise.
With the
until
exception
Top
of
Gun
maybe
comes.
Edge of Tomorrow.
But see, even Edge of Tomorrow is very telling about his career, because Edge of Tomorrow is, to me, it's the worst. A rapper gets to a certain point to where, like, you come along, you're building your career as a rapper, and then for whatever reason, hip hop just goes, "We're finished with you. We don't like you anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how dope the music that you put out is. Like, we've moved on to new rappers. And so they're guys, and you'll be trying to tell people, "Hey man, I don't know if you know, so-and-so just dropped a crazy album." They just don't care anymore.
Right.
And so when Edge of Tomorrow came out, that wasn't like Oblivion or some of those other movies that were up or down. Like, I enjoy Jack Reacher, but you could take it or leave it. Edge of Tomorrow is legitimately awesome, like fantastic sci-fi.
I also like Jack Reacher.
I like Jack Reacher, but it kind of lands with a little bit of a thud, and that's when you go, Tom's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when you go, like, he actually made a good album and nobody cares.
It almost had a word of mouth run because people are like, no, the Edge of Tomorrow is
It's like,
actually
no,
good.
it's really
People
good.
are like surprised by it.
That whole thing was like, what's the movie called? Like, is it called Live,
Die, Repeat?
Yeah, or is it called Edge of Tomorrow? And like, I think it was a little bit ahead of its time in popularizing some of the Mexican stuff.
Have you guys watched the Oprah's Couch clip?
I have many times
recently.
I haven't, but I watched the thing we based. Remember we did Claytheism at the Ringer in like early days, and that was like based on him in the turtleneck talking about Scientology.
The Oprah's Couch thing, it became kind of like a go-to joke, and we all knew what it meant. But I don't know how many times people have actually gone back and watched how fucking insane it is. And it's just this audience of crazy Oprah lady fans just losing their shit every time he gets excited that he's finally in love. And Oprah's like, "I've never seen you like this." and Cruise is like, I know. Ah! And then he just starts jumping up and down. And it's like, what is happening? It is way crazier than I think it gets credit for.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the craziest celebrity moments ever.
But there's a crazy trifecta. There's that. There's him being he is furious at Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
He's
really
furious.
angry.
And then there's the other thing where he's, whatever the video from Scientology leaks, and he's talking, and he's like, yeah, have you ever met an essay before? I'm like, oh, fucking shit, Tom Cruise is goddamn Emperor Palpatine. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then
I love the guy, but he's fucking batshit.
Oh, no.
17 rewatchable movies.
I know.
He's a maniac.
He's really like, I don't, okay. So this is a dark time in time. I don't know, want to get into but he really has taken all of that goodwill back, in my opinion.
Now?
I agree. Top
sure.
Gun Maverick.
He's taken all of that goodwill back.
Listen, we love Tom Cruise, but yeah, there's been some moments where you're like, oh yeah, okay. It's like if you're at like a holiday dinner and you have that one uncle it seems like it's going great, and then they just say something absolutely insane after 2 glasses of wine. You're like, oh.
I was thinking about this the other day about how he kind of inverted the way actors typically would progress throughout their career. He does all this great stuff with great directors when he's younger.
Yeah.
Then he hits a certain point and he's like, I'm just going to make action movies. And I'm just going to throw myself off of stuff, even though he's getting increasingly older, and probably that's more and more dangerous every time he tries that stuff. This is probably the perfect mix of acting Tom Cruise in an interesting, speculative piece of sci-fi drama, conspiracy thriller, and running Tom Cruise, because he basically runs for this entire movie, because everybody runs. But I love that, like, it's this weird thing where you'd expect, as you get older, you're going to settle into being like, I'm Paul Newman now. I'm gonna play a guy who's having a midlife crisis.
Well, we always talk about this. Cruise never had the verdict.
Yeah.
He just never did it.
Also, we got to a point with Tom to where we just appreciated what he was willing to do to entertain us. He's willing to live this mysterious, almost monastic lifestyle. He's willing to get on the plane. If you got on the couch, that's one thing. But if you're willing to get on the side of the plane, if you're willing to jump off of, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm fucking with this guy. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to get, I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, is this motherfucker on the side of the plane? Is he actually on the plane? And I think it was those things that kind of like, we're in an era where it seems like people sometimes force feed us shit. It just seems like he still gives a shit about making good movies.
Let's take a break and then we'll hit the rest of this and get to the categories. Supporting cast in this movie, including a very young, our guy Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Sierra and I did a pod with him. What was that, 2018?
Yeah.
In person?
This is right when he was being like paraded around like this is the guy. You know, it was after
In 02.
Tigerland.
This could be a next guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's his Russell Crowe mid-90s kind of moment where it's
Yeah.
like you might be hearing from this guy in a real way now.
I put it as his Jude Law Gattaca role.
Jude Law, yeah, exactly.
To where it's like, hey, Ethan Hawke's deleted this, but there's this new guy, Jude Law, and we're gonna give him time to cook a little bit because he's gonna be on the top of
It's like Billy Jacoby and just one of the guys, same thing. It's like, this is a Joyce Heiser movie,
but
this is really
our
a watch
scouts are
out for
staying
Billy
behind to watch Billy.
Yeah,
Oh.
just one of the guys guy?
just one of the guys.
The little brother, the comedic genius?
Yeah,
Billy
man,
Jacoby?
But as I'm distracted by just one of the guys.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think about the final scene.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think
man.
about the reveal.
We're going to distract you when we talk about the precogs later.
The reveal.
Samantha Morton as a precog.
Yeah.
Max von
What a
Sydow.
formative moment
Max
for
von
me as a
Sydow,
kid.
yeah.
Your guy, Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
The evil Nazi from Victory. We lost Van. Catherine Walker.
Because
nice
you weren't
run for her.
expecting it because
Are you talking about just one of the guys
yeah,
still? Okay.
because you weren't expecting it because when she does it, you're like, oh shit.
And it's a PG movie.
And it's like, not only is she a girl, but she is a fucking woman.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And
You're making CR uncomfortable.
Oh, no,
my bad. I'm sorry,
I'm all
back.
good.
I'm back.
You're back? All right.
Yeah.
Catherine Walker, big moment for her.
Uh-huh.
Neil McDonough from Dorchester, Mass.
That's right.
She's better than that guy. Great
working
guy.
man. A working man.
Throw a cowboy hat on him and put him in anything you want, and he's ready to go.
Walking tall.
Incredible
with the rock.
career.
Bad guy
Yeah,
in Yellowstone.
Yeah, like just a working man.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Music by John Williams. Cinematography by Janusz Kaminski. Written by Scott Frank.
Yep.
Spielberg. Only nominated for an Oscar for sound editing. And I really want to litigate this.
Oh, okay.
Best picture that year, Chicago wins. Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, The Pianist. Director, Polanski wins. Rob Marshall. Yeah.
Controversy.
Rob Marshall for Chicago. Scorsese. Stephen Daldry for The Hours. Pedro Almodovar.
Almodovar.
Almodovar. I'm not gonna, whatever. Talk to her. Spielberg just shut out.
Yeah, I mean, this
In a
is,
really weird way and this almost feels like a little like people are like, all right, Steve, enough.
he had the Schindler's Private Ryan run, maybe like where everybody's just like, you're good now.
I don't know how this was.
I don't know. I mean, like when you watch this movie and you watch Chicago, which I have not
How about
watched.
this movie versus Lord of the Rings? Like, really?
Well, all right, you're gonna get
Jesus
some
Christ.
fucking guys
Bill.
in your mentions, right? You
Like,
got some
what are
hobbits
you-
coming at you
Yeah,
now.
what are you doing? Lord of the Rings is you talking about the Two Towers?
He is.
I'm not even a huge Lord of the
Versus
Rings guy.
Minority Report?
First of all, have you seen Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers? So get off.
It's the one with the two towers.
Sean Astin in it?
He is.
So
Yeah.
you haven't even seen
The
it.
Hours?
The Hours is good.
That was just a good movie.
Yeah. I think what hurts it though is we don't have the 9 movie categories at this point. If
Yeah,
it's a 9
probably
movie
it's in there.
category, it makes it. Director, we could argue about.
Also, Spielberg has LeBron James syndrome. You could basically give him a best directing nod for almost every film that he directs.
Yeah.
So he's probably competing against himself.
Didn't realize Rich Paul was here.
Oh my God,
Jesus.
man. Don't
Now you're going to tell us that
Bill-
Chris Bosch wasn't part of the big 3?
Yeah, Sean Astin had no role in getting the ring to Mordor.
It wasn't a big 3. Chris Bosch was a bench
All
guy.
right, then the Michael Jordan syndrome. He's directing against himself. And if he is directing against himself,
Yeah.
Minority Report is not going to be a movie that you're going to be like, oh my God, he has to get nominated.
I
for
can
that.
never tell if Rich really likes being on McAfee.
I don't know, man.
Do you want to skip this topic?
Let's move on. $102 million budget. It made $354 million.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert. What do you think, Van?
He's
How
a
many
Spielberg
stars?
guy. So he's going to give it 3
I
stars.
think 3.5, 4.
3.5 stars.
4 stars.
Yeah.
4 stars.
I could see him loving this.
I'm just going to read this because it's really good. American movies are in the midst of a transition period. He's right. Spielberg, who is a master of technology, trusts only story and character and then uses everything else as a workman uses his tools. He makes Minority Report with the new technology. Other directors seem to be trying to make their movies from it. The film is such a virtuoso high-wire act, daring so much, achieving it with such grace and skill. Minority Report reminds us why we go to the movies in the first place.
Wow.
Raj is like fucking...
Is
That's
all
like
in.
a 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Dave Meltzer 5-star match. All right, we're going to the categories. Most rewatchable scene. Howard Marks is about to kill his wife.
Yeah. Let's just say up front, there are great scenes in this movie, but this is a great sequence movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where it'll be like one scene bleeds into the next, you know what I mean? Chase into a chase.
Yeah. It's difficult to say like whether or not it's
Are there 3 scenes in the Howard Marks thing?
The
or
surgery scene and then the scene after that, the
spiders.
And then,
So anyway, Howard Marks is Red Ball. Yeah.
So we learned that the red ball killings still occur. It's like they don't spend 10 minutes explaining it. They're just like, oh, this is a red ball. It's like, what's a red ball? And you just kind of get sucked in.
Right. And the idea is basically that premeditated murder is almost extinct because people know they will be caught. So
one of the cool things about this movie is this is a pretty far-fetched, crazy premise, and you get it within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, we're trying to stop out. This is the pre-crime division. We're trying to prevent all crime with these 3 fucking bald women in the water who can see stuff ahead of time. And if they tell us, they'll send a red ball and we got to stop it before it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, boom. I get it.
And like the passion of the crime and the humanity of it matter, right? Because there are a couple of crimes that they can't stop.
Yeah.
But murder is, it triggers the precogs and then.
I like the merry-go-round thing where Cruise is like, with his hands moving.
Yeah.
And then figures out that it's a merry-go-round. Good scene all around. Next one, Cruise figures out the Leo Crow murder and sees himself.
You're not gonna kill me.
Goodbye, Crow.
Wait!
Wait. You say something, Chief?
No.
A very cool scene.
That is just a brilliant scene. He's got the people up there. He's got his guy behind him. He has to steal the ball, and he's figuring out for himself the shock of. This is why I always say that, and people are going to say, Tom Cruise is actually underrated as an actor to me.
I totally agree.
Because when you see everything that's going on, he's doing so many different things emotionally, and the audience is basically reading it from his face. And it's fantastic.
You're talking to a guy who thinks he should have been nominated for Cocktail. So
for Cocktail,
yeah, he's amazing.
This is remember when we were doing Wick and we talked about the moment Wick goes up to the nightclub bouncer.
Yeah,
that until he falls off the balcony in the nightclub,
and
it's like 11 minutes or something like that. I'm like, that's like the best 11 minutes of action movies. The moment from when Wally says, I like you, Chief. That's why I'll give you 2 minutes before I hit the alarm. That's the 40th minute.
Yeah.
To where Anderton pulls out in the new car is 55 minutes. It's a 15-minute run.
Wow.
And it is fucking pure
I
cinema.
I have almost 2 scenes in there.
Yeah.
I feel like Jack Sanders would give me 2 minutes to get out of here.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Hold
Jack,
on.
I feel like you give me the 2 minutes.
Wait a minute. Did you just make Jack the weird fucking temple precog kissing the unconscious woman guy? Jack, bruh, stand the fuck up for yourself right now.
It was a compliment. I just think Jack would do that. I like you, Chief.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you 2 minutes
Would
before
you-
I call
would you give Bill
Spotify
2 minutes?
security.
I wouldn't be.
Dan's telling me right away. It's like, here he is, get him.
Actually, y'all don't even know me because I'd be like, I'd help you escape.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I'd help you get out of here.
Jack can't talk. He's in a pool of milk.
Jack, he made you. He just that's how Bill thinks
I
of
was
you.
complimenting him.
Weird kissing
No,
Agatha guy.
that's bullshit.
It's out-
How you stop? The elevator ride with Colin Farrell's good in that scene.
Great scene.
We get a 2054 car chase. We get Max von Sydow. Now that you've seen this movie a bunch
Sydow.
of times, Sydow.
Yeah. Just for all my Max guys out there, you know, I just didn't want you to.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Max von Sydow.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Max.
I defer to you, but I never knew that.
as Dr. Charles Nichols, which you realize this as you're watching this.
Yeah. I mean, if you know who
Richard,
he is,
where are you? I love that guy in those movies. This has too. This has the I like you, Chief guy. I love when that guy's in any movie where it's guys like, I could probably, but just go and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then the Charles Nichols. And then Cruise jumping on the Jetsons cars is phenomenal. And then, which leads to the next scene. I just wrote down Cruise gets away from 8 guys. Cruise runs. Peak Cruise running. Fire escape jetpack fight.
Yep.
Cruise jumps 50 stories. Possible nitpick because he's climbing a fire escape for like what 9 stories, but then falls 50 stories.
Oh, just
it's
go ahead.
It's noted. I love when the jump, like the skydiver move, where you don't have a pack, but you jump on the other skydiver. So they have that. I really like when somebody crashes through an apartment, but they show the people in the apartment not doing anything. Like, oh, I'm just on my computer. And then Tom Cruise falls through. More Cruise running. Crane fight with Colin Farrell.
I love that. Colin Farrell.
WW Hell in the Cell, 1997 crane fight.
Kisses his chain, and that's his little
good luck token. Gets a little fucking Irish on him. And then it ends with Cruise being embedded in a Tesla.
Yeah.
What a sequence.
15 minutes. And also, so cool that Spielberg is like, I'm going to do the jetpack fight, the jetpack chase. And then you're like, oh, you're catching your breath. And he's like, not over yet, motherfucker. We're going into a car factory and we're going to throw cranes at this guy.
Yeah. And every part of it has the little futurist elements. The little stun gun where you whip that motherfucker around and then you shoot it again. Then they're fighting. Then another futurist element, a totally automated car factory that no human workers in it. People are fighting. Nobody is stopping to go, hey, stop fighting. Go get the super.
Right.
Well, get the foreman. Like the car gets built around him and then he drives around it. A completely consistent movie the entire way.
And it's such a great image because he's being like hemmed in by all this technology anyway. So he's being like imprisoned in the automation of all this stuff.
And you get your product placement in there.
Yeah.
Lexus.
Short scene, but the Cruise flashback to when he loses his kid is good with the breath holding and the foreshadowing. Next one I have is blind Cruise moves through the decrepit apartment building as the ID spiders come after him.
Be quiet and close the door.
We got an ID. It's not him.
Standing down. Let's see.
Absolutely Spielberg in his bag. The overhead shot of all the little rooms, the people having sex, people fighting, but stopping for just 1 second so that the spiders can scan their retinas. Unbelievable.
You can see when other people have jacked Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the first time I had seen that. I'm sure someone had did it before. But then I think immediately, well, that's John Wick 4 and the when he's got the dragon's breath shotgun and he's doing the whole deal. It's fantastic. And that's also one of the, to me, scenes in the movie that's the most heavily influenced by The Matrix. Just those little spider guys coming through.
Oh, that's another influence.
Yeah.
I have 2 things off this scene. Spielberg was going to create the air bubbles rising with CGI. And Tom Cruise said, Steve,
I got you.
Give me some time to figure out how to do this myself. Which leads us to a brand new award on the Rewatchables. The Tom Cruise learned how to do it himself award, which goes to Tom Cruise. Steve, just give me 2 weeks to figure out this air bubble thing.
This is the reverse of the...
no bigger maniac who's not in prison than Tom Cruise. Like, just think of him in bodies of water with like spotters, like, and then popping up and going, how many with the air bubble?
Well, isn't that the Matt Damon joke? Or who told that story where it's like,
I think it's Matt Damon,
where he's like, Tom Cruise is like planning the stunt for like 8 years. And the safety guy is like, you can't do it. We can't assure this. So I got a new safety guy.
right.
Remember like the video, the audio that came out when Tom Cruise was explaining to the people on set how important what it is that he was doing is. Like, remember that? From
Yeah, was
like,
that like on the set of like The Mummy or something?
No, it wasn't from The Mummy. It was, I think it was either from, it was recent. It was like
it was during COVID. He was yelling at everybody. Yeah. I think it was Mission.
Yeah, it was one of the missions. And he was like, we're trying to save movies here. Yeah.
And people thought that was going to be a clip that made people like not like Tom Cruise.
People were like, yes.
People were like, yeah, fuck yeah.
The best was when he broke his ankle jumping and then just kept running because he didn't want them to lose the scene. His fucking ankle was snapped like he was. Who was that guy, Kevin Ware, the Louisville guy?
Yeah.
And he's just like, let me fucking drag my leg because I don't want to lose this shot. Like, Cruise is nuts.
Yes.
He's there's nobody like him. So that's one. And then the other one, top 4 blind guy scene of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It's everything. I have a real like phobia ick about eye stuff just because like
Me too. So I have 2 nominees and I don't know what the third one is. The Bloodsport fight with Van Damme. When Chong Li. That one. Son of a Woman Dancing.
Yeah.
Son of a Woman Dancing.
That one. And there's probably one more. So this is 3. I don't know what the 4th member of Mount Rushmore is for blind guy.
Let us know
scenes.
in the comments what blind Mount Rushmore is.
Craig, do you have any blind guy thoughts?
No, I wasn't prepared for blind guy corner.
blind Mount Rushmore. We're still one short.
Yeah.
If anyone has any nominees.
Comment below. We have comments on Spotify now.
Oh, good. Comments. Great. Next one I have is Cruise takes the precog to Dweezil Zappa's club.
Yeah.
I think I saw Van in one of the rooms. I rewound it.
That's funny.
I thought I saw you in there.
What would you be doing if you could do anything in one of those clubs?
You know,
Virtual what?
I would be like virtual. I know everyone wants to say, "Oh, Van's gonna be having a virtual orgy or something like that," but that's not what it would be. I would be. I would be. Everybody thinks that I would be virtual LSU quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what I would be. That's virtual LSU quarterback. All right, guys, we're gonna go Y dig, X go Z.
No, this is 02. You're just handing it off, man. There's no spread offense yet.
Yeah, that is true. Way more physical game back then.
I would do a virtual hunt for an October rewatchables because I can't do that in real life.
Oh, it's on the list. I really like Dweezil Zappa's club, and I like futuristic. Total Recall has this too, where it's like the one place they can get super fun in a sci-fi thing where it's like, well, there's going to be a nightclub or like an orgy place, and it's nuts. All right, 2 more. Cruise has to kill Leo Crow. You still have a choice. Mike Bender?
Yeah.
Mike Binder?
Oh, yeah.
Binder.
Mike Binder?
Yeah. Or Bender, yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's Bender.
I'm certain it's Max von Sydow, but I do not know about Mike Bender.
He's the Mind of a Married Man guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good show. Just not good. Not one of HBO's best efforts.
But he's a writer-director.
Did he direct Indian Summer?
Oh, no, I love that movie.
The one he did that was interesting was that one with Costner and Joan Allen. I thought that was pretty good.
Is that
Costner and Joan Allen?
Whatever that movie was, where Joan Allen's a divorced lady with kids and falls for Kevin Costner.
Oh.
It's solid.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What movie is that?
Listen, I'm sorry I'm a Costner fan.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry I'm a fan of one of the great actors of the last 40 years.
I fuck with him too.
I'm going to give a borderline, maybe could have toned back Agatha a tiny bit in this scene.
in Leo Crow?
Yeah, in the movie theater, I remember seeing this in the theater, and my big nitpick was like, Agatha's just a bad hang.
Well, she's a psychic who's been living in a pool of milk, so
I get it.
Yeah, I think she's got some big emotions. You know,
right? She can't walk because
I get it.
Her
I'm
muscles
just
are
I
atrophied.
found her disturbing.
Yeah,
right. I think that was kind of the point. But
I get it.
But that is kind of
not a fun hang.
That is kind of one of the
Agatha
things.
Bad hang.
That is kind of
tough Tinder swipe.
You know that you would immediately take Agatha to the sports book and just be like, while I have you here.
Right. She's yours.
Do you think Nomar gets
Play
more
us
than 2
there
hits
tomorrow.
tonight? Yeah.
What do you know about hockey? Kings Oilers? Anyone? Last one. Lamar Burgess gets caught. This is basically The Fugitive. I don't know why we ran back The Fugitive,
Yeah.
but we're doing all the same beats. We have there's a banquet. He's being celebrated. He gets found out by our hero, who's the fugitive, and I wrote down, is there a better time to spring the I know you did it move than when somebody's being honored at a banquet and there's just people in tuxedos? That's probably the number one spot, right?
Yeah.
Where else would you do it?
I mean, they can't do anything.
So your most rewatchable is that 15-minute stretch?
Yes, but can I throw two more in there?
Let's
Just
hear it.
because I have some Dion Waiters nominees later, and I would be remiss if I didn't highlight their scenes. I love the greenhouse. It's such a crazy gear shift. And the
that
old
scene
lady,
freaks me out, but I'll allow it.
her improvising on set, kissing him, and that's Tom Cruise's real reaction because she didn't say, I'm going to kiss you on the lips here.
Yeah.
Great. And also just explains everything that's going on in the movie. And then just the Peter Stormare eye surgeon, disgraced plastic surgeon who's like, remember me? You put me away.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Van Eck, the Russian or the Swedish nurse that he has, just really creepy and pure Philip K. Dick.
The only one that it's not mentioned is the first meetup between Colin Farrell and Tom Cruise.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
the
movie.
feel out.
Yeah, the feel out
Yeah.
where he rolls the ball and goes, hey, you caught that. Where they're two differing perspectives on pre-crime or clashing. Like, that's one of the best scenes in the movie.
It's a good pew-pew moment for you
Good
there.
pew-pew moment right there.
Some
Yeah.
pew-pew in there.
Yeah. What the hell? What do you mean by that?
No, just like the way you went big picture for us. I like it. You pew-pewed us. I have the 15-minute stretch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's about as good as it gets, man.
Yeah,
I gotta say
that's the movie.
the ID spiders are fucking incredible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the way they shoot, and where you can see all these different kind of seedy apartments and
Yeah.
rooms, and
And then how he tries to beat the spiders. He is afraid to go blind.
you think he's gonna beat them, and then he doesn't beat them.
Also,
doesn't beat
it
him.
says everything about like the way the society is structured in that world where like all these people living in this tenement are like, this is just a fact of life that I have to allow this fucking robotic spider to scan my retina while I'm in the middle of fighting with my wife
That's
or
what
having
they do
sex.
at the Clipper games.
See? No banners, but they get
You sit in your
whole
seat,
identity.
and then
And a
these
little spider
robotic
comes
spiders
up.
crawl out.
But to that point though, they've traded that in order to have a society with no murders.
Mhm.
So it's like even litigating like what that
Craig,
means.
what'd you have for most rewatchable scene?
I agree with CR. I think that action sequence in that like factory is the most entertaining part of the movie to me.
Okay. What's the most 2002 thing about this movie? Still normal Tom Cruise.
Mhm.
No social media in the 50-year future of things.
Yeah.
Social media is not in this movie. They didn't realize what was about to happen.
I mean,
with,
it's
with
like,
phones.
yeah. Also, like the idea that it's like that the person is reading USA Today rather than like
I have a cutting edge virtual USA Today
Yeah.
in 2002. Made sense.
I got one too.
Young mustache Colin Farrell was the other one I had. What do you have?
Physical media.
Mm.
His memories of his son aren't streaming.
Nope.
He has to get little discs
Right.
out and put them in there. It's one of the things they got wrong.
One last one, which I think is the winner. The TV show Cops being integrated in a 2054 movie scene.
Mm-hmm.
Cops is long gone.
yeah.
It made sense in 02 though.
I would just say probably the introduction / warnings of government surveillance and overreach coming out of 9/11, which is like I don't remember when the Patriot Act is exactly passed, but like this is right around when it's like, are we sure we want to have like unconditional surveillance powers? Like,
Well, the
might
spider
be bad.
thing speaks to that.
Yeah, right.
The OK Motherfucker award for the exact moment when this movie goes up a notch. Cruise gets grabbed by the precog?
Oh,
Or would you go,
I go him and Neil McDonough and him be like, everybody runs, and then Steven Spielberg stages an actual jetpack fight.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the behind the scenes for that scene?
No.
It's fucking mind blowing. First of all, like it's on wires, but it's all happening practically on a set. And Spielberg is basically like, it's like he's Coltrane. He's like, we're going to do this. And then I'm going to come here. Tom, I need you for 2 seconds to say this. Cut. Okay, moving on. And he's just like breaking down. It's one of the coolest like behind the scenes 5-minute videos you can see because it's just like Spielberg with like basically no storyboard being like this. Okay, cut. Now I want you to do this. Tom, one more time. Thank you. Awesome. And it's like he just pieces this thing together in his head. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You think Spielberg's a genius?
What? Yeah.
Like a real genius?
Yeah.
No, I think to be able to see story and execute it to that level.
I think he's an actual genius.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think the word genius gets thrown around a lot.
Okay.
This would be a good podcast where we just decide if somebody's a genius or not each episode.
Right.
I think to me, it's no brainer. Maybe it'd be a 2-minute podcast.
Well, no, I mean, I think that. Well, I guess the question would be:
Were they a genius?
No. I mean, actually, the question would be not who is a genius, but it would be who isn't one. Because of all those high-level directors, some of them are probably just great workmen and understand film, but then some of them are able to do things and translate story and emotion in a way that is just innate in a way. They just understand what people need to see and need to feel.
It's almost like the fantasy brain in your head. You can see it and translate it as a director, and only I think a few people can actually do that, where they can just be like, I see this room and I storyboarded this before, and that curtain's good. And they just like, they're in some fucking alternate universe as they're in the real universe. I have 3 Tom Cruise awards in a row for you.
Oh.
The Tom Cruise Award for most awkward moment when someone kisses Tom Cruise. That goes to Dr. Iris kissing Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
The Tom Cruise Running Award for best running in a movie. I think it's Tom Cruise, but I thought Farrell had a nice little moment there with the skid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to talk about this?
That was a runoff.
It was pretty good.
Tom gets it going, and
because he comes around the corner.
In a movie when Tom starts running, you go, man, Tom is the best running guy in a movie that we've seen. But then Farrell comes right around, and you go, Farrell can run as well. He's a good athlete.
And then he did Miami Vice, and he probably hasn't run since then.
The only Tom Cruise would do this award could be telling Spielberg he's got the little drops of oxygen, shaving his head at the end for. I don't really feel like they
shave his head because they put him in the prison thing and they have to put the halo on his head.
But they could have bald capped him.
Sure.
And he's like, no, actually shave it. And then Cruise's eyes actually being held back by those metal sticks, which seemed real. I think that's the winner.
Just thank God he wasn't like, I want to replace my own eyeballs.
Yeah.
He probably asked.
Yeah.
He's like, what if we actually replace my eyes? They're like, Tom,
Steve,
no.
I've got a crazy idea.
There's these other eyeballs. What's age the best? What do you got here?
All the noir Philip K. Dick elements. PKD loves a blind drug dealer.
PKD.
He loves a disgraced plastic surgeon. He loves a wheelchair-bound prison supervisor. Like, all of these kind of broken, damaged people are very big factors in his books. And it was cool to see them show up in the movie in some way, because Spielberg is usually a little bit more shiny happy.
The moving things thingy. Like, him moving stuff around?
Way better than Disclosure.
Okay, so that Disclosure, man. Yeah. That aged really well. First of all, like, it does it in Iron Man, but then like my Apple Vision Pro, which I'm back on.
You bought the dip.
I'm back on the Apple Vision Pro because they updated the NBA app on it.
Oh.
Fucking fantastic. Okay? Fantastic. Back on it. But I'm doing that. I'm moving stuff around, and I'm the whole deal. That aged really well.
I had Cruise using his hands to read pre-crime stuff.
Yeah.
But added, he studied like Tai Chi or some sort of something to learn. Like he definitely had some sort of instructor.
He's chasing the dragon
for how to make the moves. I'm just going to read you what I wrote about Agatha. Samantha Morton as Agatha is so creepy and weird. It's a great performance, and I also kind of hate her in this movie. But I think it's a great performance. But she's a rough
performance.
hang. But a rough hang in this movie. She intentionally. It has to be that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, she kind of jerks you out of the kinetic energy of the movie a little bit. And I mean, she's the victim of the movie.
Yeah.
And so she has to like stop the momentum of everything that's happening and like humanize the movie a little bit. And I think you probably like didn't want that. You just wanted your popcorn.
It's just, it's tough.
It's interesting.
Tough character.
When we get to casting what ifs, it's an interesting conversation.
So Danny says, how much time do we have after Cruise kidnaps Agatha? And a pre-crime officer says 51 minutes, 30 seconds. Steve Spielberg, our guy. That's exactly the amount of time until the end of the movie.
Oh, it goes real time.
He says that. I said people doing normal stuff in their room or kitchen when somebody suddenly crashes through it. And then Tom Cruise says the title in the movie, which I love.
I also love adult Spielberg. So this is a movie with sex, adultery, drug use, murder. Like
it's still the Spielberg version of it.
But he's got it. He's got it.
The guy's Howard Marks' wife in the beginning isn't riding anybody or anything.
But the woman in the tenement is. The woman in the apartment building's riding.
Yeah, it's. I think he has a complicated relationship with this stuff.
With what, sex?
Yeah.
You don't think he likes it?
I think it makes him nervous.
Sex makes him nervous?
Yeah.
You talk to him about it?
I'll bring it up if I run into
it.
it. What do you got for Great Shot Gordo?
I got 2.
Yeah.
I love the scene when they are in the Leo Crow apartment building lobby and both of their heads are in the frame. And they both, they've both like kind of like, it almost looks like Agatha is an extension of his consciousness. But the best shot is definitely the overhead of all the apartments being invaded by the spiders.
Yeah.
That is the best shot of the movie. There's a shot at the end where the movie reminds you that you're in Washington, D.C. Von Sydow,
I think,
is talking to Tom, and the Washington Monument's in the back, and like, you know where you are. But then I pointed out one, like, this is the kind of stuff that Spielberg does. I'm going to show this to Chris. See this? That's the little bit of extra stuff. So that's the scene that's in where they're talking, and Neil McDonough's character, the camera pans back behind his head, and he like splits them.
Yeah.
And visually, Spielberg just says, these are two guys on
opposite sides.
And he uses a character in the movie to break them apart as they're facing each other. It's little stuff like that that throws you into the film.
There's tons of video essays you can watch on YouTube that talk about this broadly, and then specifically with Minority Report is basically the way Spielberg will do what other people usually do, like multiple camera setups and editing to shoot a conversation, right? So like if we were 3 of us talking, there would be a camera on me, and then a master shot, and he would cut between those angles. But what Spielberg can do in this movie is go into Bill. Now I'm going to pan back towards the LaCroix can, but then I'm going to whip pan over, and Chris is looking at Van, and I move slowly to Van. And it's like there's 4 shots in one shot.
We have to get like what are those called? Those things you put over the cans?
A beer cozy kind of thing?
Yeah. We need like a ringer, or somebody should make us a Rewatchables beer cozy.
Okay.
Do you know what I love?
I feel like LaCroix just gets like free advertising every episode.
Let me tell you what I loved.
I do like LaCroix though.
I have to name this.
Yeah.
What CR was just saying was this really brilliantly technical.
I had nothing to add. It was a great point.
Oh, how Spielberg
it was great. I had nothing to add.
Bill comes back.
It's cool.
Yeah. I was just moving on to the next thing.
We call that the Simmons cell. It's like he acknowledges that you're there, but it's not like, oh, let's get into it. It's fine. I think it's great.
Bill goes.
It's hard to host.
Bill goes, you know what we should do? We should stop giving LaCroix.
Well, because I was listening to you talk, and I felt like I was filming a LaCroix commercial, and then I got self-conscious about it.
Enthralled.
I was enthralled too.
Shit. Oh God!
Kid Cudi Pursuit of Happiness Award, Best Needle Drop.
Is Moon River in this? Moon River?
I didn't hear one.
I had the theme song from Cops.
It is, Chris, or at least I heard that as well.
Yeah.
When he's walking through the mall, it's playing, right?
That's right. That's right.
Big Kahuna Burger Award, Best Use of Food and Drink. Blind Cruise, eating a bad sandwich and eating gross milk.
Fucking disgusting.
Why is that stuff in there with like a nice healthy sandwich?
Because they're fucking with him, right? I always thought that they were fucking with him.
I think they were fucking with him. Yeah. It's also like the idea that like he's not the first guy to be in this apartment blind waiting for his timer to go off. So it's like somebody else is in there.
The Chess Rockwell and Brock Landers Award for Best Character Name. Lamar Burgess.
Pretty good. I have Agatha, Dash, and Arthur.
He's 13th now in Todd McShay's draft. Lamar Burgess. Yeah. Good,
what was
good senior year as a receiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I was asking what position he plays. Lamar Burgess.
How many white Lamar Burgesses would you think would be in the NFL draft?
That's true.
Nose tackle.
Yeah. Oh, big D tackle.
Yeah.
From like Selma.
Like he used to weigh 360, but now he's 325. He's
got
in the
down
best shape
for the
of
draft.
his Lamar
And
Burgess.
he's firing. Let me tell you who I really love that nobody's talking about. Troy's Lamar Burgess. This kid's a fucking animal. Yeah.
Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back with CR's flex categories. Have some healing to do after CR said I had no soul. This great point before I sage stealed them. All right, CR, what do you got? Flex category.
I got Teddy KGB Award for actor doing his own thing for Peter Stormare, the plastic surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
Our guy. You know who that is.
Peter Stormare? From Fargo, from Where else?
8mm.
Oh, 8mm. Yeah.
Dino Velvet.
Dino Velvet. Yeah.
Our guy.
The Russian cosmonaut and Armageddon, which is really one of
the Satan.
we
and
may have
Constantine.
done. We may have low key done like 6 Peter Stormare movies by now.
Should we do that guy, like what I did with the Basketball Hall of Fame pyramid? Should we just do that guy Hall of Fame pyramid with 5 levels?
Yeah.
And Stormwire to me is at least
He's
level 4.
way the fuck up there.
He might even be level 5.
He makes every single movie that he's in better.
You always notice him, but it's never like a huge role.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
it's just so fascinating because he gives Tom Cruise anesthetic. Like as soon as he walks in, he basically knocks him out, and then he just like dances around Tom Cruise and chews scenery for 5 minutes. I'm like, has anybody ever done this to Tom Cruise before? Where Tom Cruise has got to be like, oh, like
He's in a scene with Joaquin Phoenix and Nick Cage, just blowing them off the set. I love that guy. Butch's girlfriend, weak link of the film. I don't really have one.
Do you like Lara?
I thought it was gonna be either Lara or Agatha.
The Tom Cruise
this
wife?
category shouldn't always be like the woman.
A woman, yeah.
It's just the Lara character is not that dynamic. And then
I
also,
guess for me, probably the weakest piece of the movie is Max just fucking up and saying the girl drowned.
yeah.
And then,
yeah.
And like this guy is so smart. He's fucking replacing pre-crime memories, and he's just 7 steps ahead of everybody.
He's recreating murders.
And
step
then all
by
of a sudden
step.
he's just like, yeah, the drowned girl. She's like, what do you mean? I never said she drowned. It just feels like
doesn't make any
that's
sense.
probably my Butch's girlfriend. What's age the worst? No cell phones. Cruise jumping cars on the fake highway is the only part of this movie that
doesn't
feels
look good.
CGI'd.
Yeah,
that I
doesn't
think
look
if
good.
they do it in 25, they just have better technology,
Yeah.
right? Futuristic misses. Those thin glass data slides you mentioned earlier, the physical media. I don't know. Feels like easy to shatter, easy to break.
It's a very
Should they have covers? Like
That shit would be on the cloud, man.
yeah,
Like
but
that- right.
it's the best part of the movie, and it's why people are like, I don't really want to make movies about cloud and iPhones, is
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
just like I want to have the thing that we have to run.
But now
with
we
it.
would just have
Yeah.
the cloud.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a stretch here with the long stretch with Dr. Iris right into the crazy eye doctor where nothing's happening for about 25 minutes and it's such an adrenaline rush before they bring you back down. It's a little long.
It's
It's
Alice in
definitely like
Wonderland. He's
time
going
to go get popcorn.
He's going down the hole there.
You're
Yeah.
talking about like when he gets into her and the fucking plants come alive and all of that stuff.
Yeah, well,
The
then-
plants coming alive just it seems like a different movie to me.
I think on purpose, though. I think
Right.
it's supposed to be like he's now passed into the realm of like fantasy and
Mysticism.
everything. Yeah, exactly.
Fox did a remake series in 2015 that I forgot about.
Mhm.
Didn't last. Dr. Iris says the precogs abilities are the result of brain damage caused by parents being addicted to Neuroin during pregnancy.
Mhm.
Don't do Neuroin when you're pregnant. So what's age the worst for me? Like,
Yeah.
care about your kids, even though
Oh.
Neuroin's not an actual drug. What do you got for what's age the worst?
I didn't. I just can't handle eye stuff from Clockwork Orange
Yeah,
on
I
when
can't
they
either.
started fucking with
My
people's
number
eyes.
one.
Yeah.
Eating gross shit. I just can't. When he eat, every time he eats the shit and then he drinks it, can't physical media thing, and literally the CGI when they're jumping around. That's like Star Wars prequel level. This is fake
Yeah.
type of shit.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately O2 is right around. We had some stuff figured out, but other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're
is
able
not.
to do the Matrix, so
Yeah.
like it's pretty good.
It looked better than it had ever looked up to that point. But
Yeah.
the jump between now and then like 2008 when Iron Man comes
Or
out.
fucking Sinners
is
with like
fucking
Michael B.
crazy.
Jordan just playing 2 parts next to each other for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
The Ruffalo-handed Rubeneck Partridge overacting award.
I know. That's an easy one.
What do you got?
It's Agatha. I mean, not over. I mean, just it's a turning it up to fucking 14. I don't mind it as much as you do, but like screaming, yelling.
It's a borderline you could throw in the category.
Oh,
As
and
a- as
the
an
Agatha
actual- you
overacting
could add
award.
her, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's about to kill Mike Binder and they do a couple ISO shots of her just screaming her fucking head off, it's like, okay, let's cut one back.
Goodbye, Crow. Anderson, wait a second!
Ben, what do you have for a flex category?
Best dick ever.
Okay.
So it's mine is always a list, and I want CR, our resident dickhead here, to what are the best Philip K. Dick movie adaptations?
Oh.
So I got Minority Report.
I thought that was going to be an AVN award for a second. I was scared. Jesus.
Minority Report, Total Recall, Scanner Darkly, Blade Runner, and then I put the Adjustment Bureau on there because I love that movie. Am I leaving anything off?
I don't think so. There have been some like animated series and series where it's like riffing on themes from his works, but I think those are the big ones. I would put Blade Runner number one.
Blade Runner number two.
Yeah.
Give me a ranking.
I would go Blade Runner, Total Recall, probably Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall, and then
Scanner Darkly.
Even though Scanner Darkly in some ways is the most Philip K. Dick thing.
Are you an Adjustment Bureau guy?
I'm not.
You're not. Are you an Adjustment Bureau guy?
No.
Interesting.
No, sir. I think I agree with CR's list, but I think Total Recall is also the one. If I was trapped on a desert island,
That's
and
what
I
you'd
only
watch
had
the
one.
most. Yeah.
I'd probably take that one.
Yeah, to me, that's the best one.
Because you get the 3 boob lady
Yeah.
if you get
Yeah.
Total Recall.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the best. Or no, actually, you know what? It's not the best one. Yeah,
it's just
you
the
guys'
most.
point.
It's the most entertaining rewatchable of all of those.
But Blade Runner's the best one.
Blade Runner's the best one.
Yeah.
It's like how Raging Bull is awesome, but you wouldn't want to watch Raging
yeah,
Bull.
you'd
100
rather
times.
watch like Rocky or something, but yeah.
Do you know that in like 2006, somebody made a Jake LaMotta movie because it was on cable?
Are you serious?
I've never heard of this
and
before.
it was like Jake LaMotta, and it was like I forget who the actor was.
Was it like
Can you imagine being like,
The
you know what,
balls.
we might be,
Yeah.
might be time to re-explore Jake
The
LaMotta.
balls on that. The balls on that fucking guy. Balls.
Hey, the CR thinks Luke Wilson could have been Harrison Ford hottest take award. Ben, do you have one?
I do not.
I have one. I'll do one for you.
Yeah.
Precogs, the greatest professional sports gambling weapon ever created in a movie, hands down.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
There's a whole subplot movie with precogs, like just basically making all these money for gamblers and then being on the run.
If you're John Anderton, just make the run to Vegas with Agatha while you can. Or
What's
AC
closer?
even.
Atlantic City, yeah.
Go to the Borgata.
The guy has access to the precogs. And look, the villain here is a villain. He can kill someone, but he also kind of, I mean, he's kind of got some points, right? He tries to stop
Max.
murder. I wouldn't have tried to stop murder if I had the precogs.
Right. Use them financially.
We running it up.
Yeah.
We playing the market. We doing all kinds of stuff. We running it up. He did something for the public good.
It's true.
In a bad way.
Precog has Oilers game 2. Goal and a half.
Put Agatha,
plus 150.
Put a nice visor on
I
her.
love taking the idea of like this person is telepathic. It's just like,
a bathtub.
yeah.
Connor McDavid, 2 goals. All right. Do you have a hottest taker now?
Yeah. So this one is from the perspective of Howard Marks. Let's say you're Howard, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you like, why don't we just stop my wife from cheating? If you can see the whole crime, wouldn't it be better if Anderton came by and was just like, don't cheat on Howard. He's going to flip out if you do that. You know, just go through
further back.
Yeah. Or just like, why is the precog only paying attention to the end result, like murder and not the pre-triggering event? Right? Because if you're Howard, you're like, I never would have considered killing my wife unless she cheated on me. So if you could just go back in time, couldn't somebody be like, hey, we got to yank this guy who's like gonna cheat on?
So the precog really kind of fucks over Howard a little bit.
Well, I mean, I understand that the ultimate crime is murder, right? Like the people are going to cheat on each other, people are going to have feelings for one another, but it is kind of like for that kind of crime of passion, it seems like if she hasn't cheated, he's like, oh, I thought maybe we could go to lunch together today.
So you don't stop Rich Paul from saying that Chris Bosh wasn't really a big 3. You go back further,
yes,
and stop LeBron James from hiring Rich Paul. That's your move. Then we don't have the Chris Bosh thing anyway. But yeah,
exactly.
Okay, I got you. Casting What Ifs. This was optioned in 1992 as a sequel to Total Recall with Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
And Carol Co Productions, which we've talked about, Carol Co Pictures, which we've talked about on a couple Kyle Brandt rewatchables, filed for bankruptcy. And there's a documentary about this whole thing. So it got worked into a different thing. Jan DuBont came in 97. And then and that didn't work out. And then the biggest casting what if for this was Spielberg comes on, offers the Colin Farrell role to Matt Damon, offers Dr. Iris to Meryl Streep, offers Lamar Burgess, 320-pound nose tackle, to Ian McKellen, offers Agatha to Cate Blanchett, and offers Lara to Jenna Elfman. And Streep declines. Damon's doing Ocean's 11. Everybody else falls
McKellen's
through.
in The Two Towers. Yeah.
Javier Bardem
Mm-hmm.
then offered the Whitwer role, the Colin Farrell role. He can't do it either.
Do you see why he turned it down?
No.
He said he didn't feel like chasing Tom Cruise around for an entire movie.
That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be chasing Brad Pitt around in F1.
F1.
Saw that trailer yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're way up on it. You love
I'm in. It's Days of Thunder with F1 cars. I'm in.
I can't tell what it's really about.
I'm still going to go to
It's
the
about
theater.
an older racer and a younger racer.
It's just, it looks cool.
They've never tried that.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I still haven't seen the thing that makes me go, oh, Jesus Christ, I got to see F1.
Best That Guy Award. Obviously, it's going to be Dino Velvet from 8mm, unless you think Peter Stormare is his own guy.
Peter Stormare.
I think
he's Peter Stormare?
not only is he his own guy, he's in the Dion category. I had Patrick Kilpatrick, who is the guy standing next to Sean McDonough, or Steve Harris, but I don't know if Steve Harris.
Maybe
is-
in movies.
Yeah.
In movies, he might be.
Yeah.
Steve
I
Harris.
had Steve Harris.
You know who I have?
Ari Gross is
Ari
Ari Gross,
Gross.
but I think he's Ari Gross.
He's Harry
Is
Gross
he?
to me.
He's
I
in
mean, to
Perfect
me,
Strangers.
Yeah.
Perfect Strangers, star of one of my favorite movies, The Experts.
Oh, John Travolta and Kelly Preston?
Fake John Travolta, Kelly Preston. Like I'm telling you, guys, go watch The Experts. The fake town in Russia that doesn't
I don't
know that
mind The
they're in
Experts.
Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vote for Steve Harris. He's the black guy who works for Cruise, for people
John, yeah.
listening.
Wood
Yeah.
Harris's brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wasn't he in The Wire?
That's what
He couldn't have been like...
I don't know that there's a
He
rule
couldn't have
that
been
you
like...
have to cast
He couldn't have been like Don
everybody's
Barksdale, like his brother that comes in for
Don
one episode.
Barksdale. Don Barksdale. That's Wood Harris's brother, yeah. Mhm.
Dion Waiters. We have our guy Peter Stormare.
Yes,
With
easy.
Dweezil Zappa,
Yeah.
Tim Blake Nelson?
Dr. Iris.
I would say Lois
And Neil
Smith
McDonough.
as Dr. Iris and also Tim Blake Nelson as Gideon.
The Century, yeah.
I would go Dweezil.
Oh,
He's
I'm
doing
going
a lot in 4 minutes.
I'm going Stormare.
Yeah, it's an easy one right there, yeah.
Oh yeah, Stormer. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. You're right. Recasting Couch Director City. What do you got?
I think DC is a cool place to put this. I think it's like
Boston.
it's consistent. Yeah, Southie. Minority Report in Southie.
I'm so close. I wanted to. I'm
Don't do
gonna
it, man.
I'm gonna let you slide.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna bring it up.
I like it in DC.
'Cause
It
if
feels like
it's-
All the President's Men. and-
New Orleans.
If the movie's called Minority Report and it's in Boston, it would be a different movie.
New Orleans.
New Orleans would be good.
Philly, you could do it in Philly, running by the Liberty Bell. You know. No.
Is this a Miami movie?
Oh,
I think you need a dense.
it's Miami's too happy.
I like the
happy,
idea
yeah,
of like
yeah.
an old city that has been redone in the futuristic
I think
way.
the other place I was thinking was London,
Chicago.
but London's the obvious place to do it. But
Yeah.
that's not in America.
Yeah.
Recasting for me. Can we test drive Jada Pinkett as Agatha? Can you
I think
give that a whirl?
Kate Blanchett is like a
So,
fucking incredible shout.
wait a
But
minute.
Kate Blanchett's like, I don't know. She's like one of the best actresses of the last 25 years.
But in 02, she was like
Still making it
still
up.
coming up.
So after what happened with,
Samantha Morton was also really good in a lot
I
of
get,
stuff.
I get it. I'm
So you
just
want-
like
you-
Jada Pinkett because I like when she has a shaved head anyway.
I was
So I
about
don't
to
know.
say you're gonna get Chris fucked over 30 years before.
Different Oscars
He-
joke.
he
Yeah,
make-
we're
he-
rewriting history.
He makes the joke. It's like, yeah.
Portman's probably too young at that point.
She's in her 20s. I mean, she's in Star Wars at that point where she's like 22,
like in late teens,
23.
20s, yeah.
Can I uneasily test drive a casting suggestion for this to change the flavor of the movie a tiny bit? What about Halle Berry
Huh.
in the precog?
I think
outfit?
she's probably too on at this point.
I would go for Halle Berry as Lara, as the ex-wife. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Future.
Half-assed in research. Cameron Diaz, Cameron Crowe, and Paul Thomas Anderson are on the subway, uncredited. In the Philip Dick novel, John Anderton is a balding, out of shape old man.
Yeah.
Um,
He also at the end of I think I believe at the end of the novel, him and Lara get like basically kicked off of Earth.
Kicked off of Earth?
Yeah, it's not a happy ending.
Hold on, where did it go?
It's like you're basically being transported to like another planet, like as a punishment, and Whitwer is like takes over essentially.
In the book,
If I remember correctly.
the precogs are intellectually disabled and deformed individuals. They decided that doesn't sound fun. Spielberg said he wanted to give the movie a noir feel and threw himself a film festival that included Asphalt Jungle, Key Largo, Maltese Falcon, and they decided to deliberately overlight the film and then bypass the negative with our guy, Janusz.
The car factory scene is based on a never shot sequence in North by Northwest that Hitchcock told Francois Truffaut about. So like he took like the inspiration for that. I mean, he's just fucking, he is hearing Jimmy in this movie.
Do you know my Janusz connection?
I do not.
So my daughter's in like, Chris knows this, elementary school.
Yeah.
And he's one of the other dads in my daughter's class. And one year, it was like second or third grade, he took all the pictures at like the end of the year thing. And it was Janusz Kaminski, multiple Oscar winner cinematography. Yeah. So, you normally had these things and it's just like a bunch of like people taking iPhones and it's a photo album. And this is like fucking,
the greatest
release this as like a coffee table book. Just pictures of like 7-year-old little girls like blowing bubbles in the air.
Yeah,
it's like just fucking amazing. Anyway, similar to The Fugitive. Richard Kimball, John Anderton, framed for crimes they didn't commit. Both recognized on the subway by another passenger. Both consulted a colleague to unravel a clue. Both pursued by a police officer and navigate through a crowded public place to try to lose them. Kimball dyes his hair. Anderton has his eyes replaced. Discovered they were set up by a colleague that they had been talking about the whole time and trusted, and then blow them up during a ceremony celebrating that colleague.
You got Neuronin, you got Provasic. What are they taking in The Fugitive? What's the drug that
Provasic?
Yeah.
You'll have to excuse my friend, Dr. Richard Kimball. He's been sick.
Is there a scene in this one that's parallel or something like the jumping off of the jumping into the dam scene?
Probably the jetpack fight.
The jetpack
right?
fight.
Him jumping,
where he just goes.
That's another similarity.
Whatever you do, you're not going to catch me. I'm willing to jump off of the thing or do whatever. Right. Yeah.
This is a borderline Sean Fennessy Criterion Orgasm Award, whatever we called that one. But
Criteria Orgasm.
Cruise confronts Max at the end. And he's wearing a dark hood. And it's mirrors the opening of a 1957 movie called The Seventh Seal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Apex Mountain.
I got one for you.
What do you got?
You ever heard of the made-up genre called Nokia Wave or Nokia Wave, depending on how you pronounce the Swedish phone company? No, you know about this?
I don't.
So it's basically an idea / subgenre that was coined by a critic named David Rudnick, and it's loosely spans from GoldenEye through the Bourne movies, so like 95 to like early 2000s, and it's all about like, it's like Enemy of the State, it's like Matrix, it's stuff where it's like the technology is futuristic but it's still tactile. So you were talking about like the little floppy disks, but it was basically clear disks. People are still wearing earbuds, the phones are like almost there but they're not super in the future, and everything is about paranoia and a state surveilling you. And basically this is like, it's this, Ronin, Spy Game, Mission Impossible, a bunch of these, but Minority Report is Apex Mountain for Nokia Wave.
Do you think they would make Rewatchable koozies? No, that was great. That's a great
He did it on purpose that time.
That was great. No, you're right. This was a 4-year run of inferior technology being presented as awesome technology.
Yes, where it's like we can't find Jason Bourne because like the internet is busy, like the modem is not working.
Almost like contemporary steampunk. Yeah, like to where it's, you know what I mean.
That's a really good Apex Mountain.
Yeah.
Cruise, no. Spielberg, no.
Cruise-Spielberg collapse?
Yeah, because this is it. Yeah,
Well,
it
War
has
of the
to be.
Worlds would be the other
No,
one.
this is better than War
I
of the Worlds.
love War of the Worlds, though. I think it's a real. I think War
Tom
of the
Cruise.
throwing
You're
the
just mad
baseball,
because he's a Yankees fan in that movie.
throwing the baseball at his son's face.
He just has to come out and say I had a torn rotator cuff, but I got it through it because I threw the baseball for 7 straight months before filming because I wanted to get it right. And I
Spielbergian
shattered my rotator cuff.
See, Spielbergian techno noir, like between this and AI.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like this movie so much more than AI. I really didn't feel like AI worked. Not a lot of AI conversations lately, although I guess the title is
Important movie though.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
How about evil Max characters? Because this wasn't the most evil. CR knows what the most evil
Strange
was.
Brew?
No. he was the good Nazi in Victory.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Nazis were all evil in Victory. But
He's
Pele's
the
bicycle
nicer-
kick was so good. He stood up and applauded it.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're still a fucking Nazi.
You're a Nazi, yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Samantha Morton, Apex Mountain.
It's her time. Morvan Caller, this.
Yeah, I actually think
she's
the
cooking
answer is
right
yes.
there.
Dorchester's Neil McDonough. No way.
No, hell no.
No, his Apex Mountain's a 25-year Apex Mountain.
He got a deep bag. 25-year age. He got a deep bag. He got a deep bag of recognizable characters.
Yeah.
When they first year Yellowstone, I'm like, Neil's gonna be in this.
And in second year, he is.
He's in there. Yeah.
Precogs, definitely. Washington, D.C. movies, no. Pre-crime departments. I don't remember seeing this in another movie.
Predictive crime, yeah. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't think so.
Phil Dick movies? We just said
We
no.
just said
No.
no.
Yeah, all right. Cruise or Hanks, Scorsese or Spielberg. This is the first time this has ever happened. It's a double wow.
Yeah.
What role would Philip Seymour Hoffman have played?
I have him in the Colin Farrell role.
It's an interesting idea of him playing Whitwer because it's a little bit more of a twerp, a little less hot, a little less like.
The fight scene suffers probably.
The fight scene suffers, maybe the running and all of that kind of he wasn't known for, but like he also was kind of sneaky athletic and people don't talk about it. Like he was a good ball player and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He never really got into that bag on screen, I guess that much. But I think he could have
he could have been the eye doctor.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he could have been eye
He
doctor.
could have been Gideon. He could have
But
been.
I think he's the Dweezil Zappa if we're doing this again. He just comes in hot for 5 minutes.
But in 2002,
he's just like doing a favor for Cruise. They're
Okay.
buddies. Craig's choice, flex category. What do you got, Craig?
Well, I kind of want to do a hottest take, which is just that Lamar was super right in that we should get the precogs back in the milk, and that even if it's like a 98% hit rate, what are we doing here?
See? This is the problem with his generation. See, I'm telling you.
He's
This
just
is the,
like, I want to take Waymo.
this is the
I
problem
want
with it. This
a
is the-
world without murder,
He
even
means
if
it.
innocent people are going to jail.
Hey, spoiler alert, all innocent people go to jail all the time. If we have a 98% hit rate,
This is what I'm saying. He means it. This is the problem. This is intellectual.
what's our hit rate now? Like 60%? I
Yeah,
can tell you I
more
can
than
get
that.
98?
It's just averages.
Guys are
It's win
clearing like
probability rate.
20%. Yeah.
I'm just running the numbers here. This still looks like a pretty good move to me.
See?
Okay.
This would be an unbelievable first take segment.
Think
if
about what
Stephen
you
A.
give
is
up,
like,
Craig.
We
Yeah.
have to get the precogs back in the milk.
An ethically utilitarian generation. Like I'm telling you.
Craig, I really enjoyed the take. Picking nits. Swapping eyeballs. Let's like really talk about this. I know the technology is going to be better in 2054 than it is now. I don't know what century we're just going to be able to swap eyeballs where the guy's out there in an action scene 3 weeks later. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean, yeah. It means, yeah.
Like kidneys, I get it. But that one's a little crazy. Cruise just stumbles into the exact drowning of Anne Lively in about 20 seconds from the precog thing.
I think it's the idea
Styles
that the
it up.
precogs are echoing that, like they're trying to send a signal to
Right.
him. Because that's her mother.
She keeps saying.
I know.
She
It
says
just
to
feels
him, you can.
fast.
She says to him, "You can see." She wants him to see it.
And then Lamar accidentally saying the girl drowned.
I'll add on to the Lamar pylon. I don't really feel like Lamar shooting himself in the heart is like commensurate to the rest of the film's like imagination. So when like it's just the two of them together and then he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, you guys had a jetpack fight an hour ago.
I have two.
Yeah.
who's in charge of updating the retinal files?
What do you mean?
So Tom Cruise, his character, John Anderton, is now a fugitive and on the run and an outlaw, but his retinal still gets you into the police station.
Oh, who's like, why didn't they turn off his security badge?
Right, like you leave a place, like you get fired from a place, they discontinue your badge like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the way to the end of the movie,
He can still get into the
his wife
Justice Department.
is able to get in using his retinal file. Like who's in charge?
Man, that's the fucking one of the best picking nits I've heard in a long time.
Who's
man.
in charge of updating the retinal files? It should not still be giving you access.
Yeah.
They cut your card off right away. You can't get back in.
This is 2025. We would know this. 2002, they didn't think of it.
I'm just saying, like, they get you out of it. And then the other one is
Retina files.
the other one is this. So in the crime with the precog,
Yeah.
the Anne Wiley, the crime, right? They come and get her murderer, and then they just leave her there for her to
Yeah.
be killed. So they don't need her to come to the station and give a statement. Okay.
Right. I think the idea is that it's all staged, right? But I know what you mean, where the cops are like, you're good. See you later.
Yeah, the cops come get the guy, and then that allows Burgess to then kill her while the cops are gone. There's not a cop that goes, hey, I know this was traumatic for you. They literally just leave her standing by the lake for him to come kill her.
Well, in Craig's America, that's just how the cops are.
Keep the precogs in milk. I'm Craig Horlbeck, and that's my 2054 stance.
Wait, I have a picking nit.
Yeah.
You'll have to talk me through this because maybe I'm not thinking about this right. But the whole John Anderton murder, the whole plot seems like a catch-22 to me because Anderton would not have known about the Leo Crow thing unless Agatha told him or saw it. But Agatha would have never seen it unless he was already destined to do it, which he couldn't have been because she's the reason why he was destined to do it.
Craig, welcome to the world of Dick, man.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
It's like a chicken or the egg.
But that's the paradox.
What did you just
it's
say?
the whole idea. Welcome to the world of Dick. It's like all of this. It's like basically the whole
Get some
idea.
dick, Craig.
Yeah.
I just got dicked.
When he's like, it's what Colin Farrell's character is just like, it's like, here's the paradox. It's like, if you know the ball is going to drop, you catch it, whatever, that whole idea.
But the opening example in the film makes sense. It's like this guy's theoretically going to kill his wife, but he still has a choice. But the Anderton thing doesn't make sense because he literally would have never known about it had Agatha not told him.
But that's the whole thing is she's trying to knock down the dominoes that will eventually lead to like her mother's murder being solved.
It's like, Craig, it's like if Sacramento just takes Luka Doncic, number 2.
Then we don't
lose
then Nico
professional
Harrison is
basketball
just
in
having
Dallas.
a great year.
Nico Harrison is just the boys with everybody, and the Lakers are dying.
I would say, Craig, this was a source story written under a tremendous influence of drugs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sequel, prequel, Prestige TV, all black cast, or untouchable. Prestige TV probably should have worked with this. It feels like a show Apple would have made. Like,
I think it would just be more heady and less like fun and chase oriented.
Probably less toys because they wouldn't have the budget. Although if they gave Prestige the Prestige like morning show treatment money to this Apple and $20 million an episode,
Yeah, it would just
they
be
could
like
probably,
an advertisement for everything Apple's going to do in 10 years.
right?
Pretty much.
He's walking through the
Yeah.
mall and it's just like iPad.
Yeah.
I guess
iPhone.
the question is like, when you do the Prestige on this, do you do a 1 season limited that kind of stretches out Anderton's story?
Ends.
Or do you leave pre-crime around and do something based on that for like multiple seasons?
Or would you do a prequel and it's like the first guy who gets caught by precogs?
Right.
Because that guy probably was pretty salty.
Or you do all the Minority Reports.
What about Law and Order pre-crime?
Oh, shit.
Just
Bill.
like the cheap version of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just every episode.
Not a lot of detective work. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, see, we got to just go get this guy.
It's basically just moving your hands around.
Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Doris Burke, Sam Jackson, Nell, Byron Mayo, Barney Cousins, Tony Romo, Harling Mays, Chris Collinsworth, Daniel Plainview, Longlegs, or Wilford Brimley in the firm?
In
CR?
honor of the NBA playoffs. If DB was checking out a little Minority Report, we see you, Miss Agatha. You've been swimming in the photon milk for all this time, not just grinding tape, but making the tape for the pre-con police to act on. But now you're out here in your Gap finest, straight off the rack, living your best life. Don't let anyone tell you that you need the twins to see the future. DB is really kind of taken on her own character now. It's not even really like a Doris Burke imitation anymore.
I don't know. We'll see during the playoffs. I don't know if that's far off. I had Ryan Rucco, and also in honor of the NBA playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lamar Burgess going to take his lead? You bet. Just one Oscar. Who gets it? I'd honestly go Kaminsky. I think this movie looks so cool.
Janusz.
Yeah. I think the way it's just the vibe of it is so unique. It really stands out. Even if you're flicking channels on cable and you stumble across it, it just looks different.
I like the idea though that this is like hardly in the conversation of Spielberg movie that missed out on an Oscar or should have won an Oscar, but people still study it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a real testament.
No question. Probably unanswerable questions. Did Howard Marks' wife deserve to die? I mean, the fucking guy wasn't even in his car yet, and the next guy's coming over. Like, I don't know.
That guy's
Did Howard have some good ideas?
stalking the house too from across the street. It's just like you can't even wait for 5 minutes.
Creep affair guy. I don't know.
You need to go listen to the TK Kirkland interview on Higher Learning. Let me tell you something.
I said it was unanswerable.
I will tell you this. No, but the answer is no. But I will say that scene is really that scene is diabolical because he's trying to convince her to have sex in the bed.
Yeah.
And she's like not wanting to do it.
She's saving it.
But she's like, I don't want to do it in our bed, in the bed that we share. Even though the guy's already coming in the house, he's like, nah, fuck your husband. And then he's right there with the fucking scissors. But no, she didn't deserve to die. No.
Has any actor ever worn more masks in a movie than Tom Cruise?
Oh my God. I forgot about the paralytic that he shoots into his
face. We need
face.
to talk about that.
Yeah. He loves a mask.
Loves it. I mean, every Mission Impossible movie.
Vanilla Sky.
This movie. It's got to be like 2 more.
Is he wearing a mask in Tropic Thunder or is it just a lot of makeup?
Oh, that's a good question. I think
for Lev.
Maybe with prosthetics, maybe not a full mask. Yeah.
I love that he injects himself with that, and then like 20 seconds later, the pre-cut guy's like, "Hey, John."
It's also such like a huge
like, why did he do that?
Where they're like, "Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna shoot yourself this," and it's like, this is not like actually that important.
No.
I have 2 really good ones. So unless anyone has any other ones,
I don't.
All right. First one. What's the FanDuel line on the crane fight with Farrell and Cruise? Right when Farrell does his Irish thing and it's like, it's go time. If that's real life on the crane, who wins?
Well, I think it's like,
I'm going with the Irish guy.
but it is kind of like
him up.
Amen Thompson's first playoff series. We haven't seen Whitwer in that kind of situation.
I think he's like minus 310 over Cruise. He's got size on him. He's younger.
And when he kisses the necklace,
that tells you
he's been there before.
Yeah. Like he's had some scraps.
And by the way, he starts off fucking him up.
So 3-1?
3-1. 3-1 is a lot.
So you think there'd be some Cruise action
A
at minus
little
240
Cruise action
or
coming
plus
in
240?
late. Yeah.
Okay.
He's desperate.
Next one. Has Van ever typed in precog in a porn search? This
Not
might
cog.
actually be answerable.
Cog. No, I haven't.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What piece of memorabilia would you want or not want from this movie?
I would want the pre-crime screen, but only so that I could watch Second Spectrum and grind tape.
Split season.
Look at this split action. Draymond's gonna get set here.
I have the rarely seen not want for this.
Okay.
The eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having those.
Yeah.
Like, what are those? I have the eyeballs
I
for
just need these
Minority
to get
Report.
into Spotify.
Yeah.
The Halo. I want the Halo.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
The Halos are cool.
Coach Finstock Award, best life lesson. I'm going to go with careful, Chief. You dig up the past, all you get is dirty. I don't know, some sort of life lesson.
Okay.
there.
I like
fucking with it.
Everybody Runs.
Yeah. Everybody runs. Yeah.
That's good. Best double feature choice.
I had Edge of Tomorrow.
That's good. I had North by Northwest.
Mm.
Oh, I was going to say War of the Worlds,
Yeah.
just to get the combo.
Yeah.
Who won the movie? Steve?
I'm gonna go Steve.
I'm gonna go Steve too.
You gonna go
Steve.
Tom? Unanimous.
Yeah.
Craig's precog milk take.
Yeah.
Craig, what do you got?
So I feel like I've effectively masked my thoughts throughout this
You have.
recording. You're probably not going to be thrilled.
He didn't like
I have seen this movie before. I saw it 10 years ago. This is only the second time I've seen it. And I don't deny that this is exactly what Spielberg wanted. It just doesn't click for me. It doesn't work.
Not a sci-fi guy or not
I like sci-fi.
not a pre-crime guy?
Can I ask you something? Because we didn't talk about this. Is it a half hour too long?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know that you're really sensitive about runtimes anyway, and this one definitely has like 5 extras.
It drags.
It's a little ahead of its time in how long it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like these
A
movies should
2.5 hour blockbuster was uncommon back
Yeah,
then.
I just knew Sinners. I love Sinners, but I knew like I had to pee halfway at the hour mark because I was like, I know this is going to go an hour and a half longer.
I think this is just like my own personal subjective opinion. I just don't like the look of the early aughts, late 90s movies. That like cold blue, bleached out. I just like find that to be visually unpleasant. And I think it's in a weird middle ground. Like I think it's in a gray area where 80s and 90s movies to me actually aged better than early aughts movies because the early aughts movies are like in that awkward period between bad CGI and good CGI, and they're like really trying. It's like
could not agree more.
they are just discovering it, so they're trying really hard. And I actually think it just looks worse than like Total Recall in some ways.
Bad CGI effects put you in a position where you understand exactly what they're imagining. Middling CGI and effects makes it look like they couldn't do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think this movie is either 10 years too early or 10 years too late.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? I totally agree with Craig, but I also judge this because I know what they had and didn't have back then. Almost the same way you would watch NBA clips from the 70s and be like, oh yeah, they didn't know to shoot threes back then.
But see, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm not to speak for him because he just said it, but like if you watch Total Recall and you know the things happening and he's in the stomach and all of that
it's campy.
Right, you get that. But then when you watch a movie from like 2002 or 2003, there are parts of the movie that look amazing and then parts that look bad, and that to me takes you more out of it than something that looks bad pretty much throughout the entire way through.
I was watching, I don't know if you guys know this movie, The Thing, last night.
John Carpenter
Literally
movie?
last night.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have heard of it.
Did
Yeah, of
you
course.
get it on 4K?
Huh?
Did you get it on 4K?
No, it was just on cable. I do have it on 4K though.
See, to me, that's a good example of a movie that visually works despite how dated it
But that's
looks.
the thing. It's 1982. All of it feels completely genuine, even the alien, whatever the fuck, coming out of the guy's stomach. And in 2002, they probably try to throw some technology at that would make it seem less fake than it did in 1982.
Yes.
It's just tough timing. I almost wish this was a Total Recall sequel in like 1991 because it would have looked way different.
But there are parts of the movie that look fantastic. Like all of the stuff moving around, the precog stuff, all of that stuff totally works. And then you'll get to something and you'll go, they hadn't quite mastered because they're probably producing this 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Something like that. They hadn't quite
He
got
shot
there
it pretty
yet.
fast, but yeah, like it's I think it's after, I mean, they certainly were doing it after 9/11, but I think it was a quick shoot.
Yeah, I just don't love the early internet era. Like the early digital era on film, I feel like is kind of tough. Doesn't age well.
Craig, have you seen The Thing?
Yeah.
Jack, have you seen it?
I have. Huge inspiration for Sinners.
It's really good.
The Thing or Sinners?
You're showing a little leg. Are we gonna do it?
The Thing is just really good.
Yeah, it is.
It's just
It's one of the best movies.
testing the blood is just one of the most riveting scenes. But Sinners has a lot of Thing energy in it.
Garlic.
Do you think that was an inspiration for Sinners?
Probably. I mean, he would know. Like it just, it's a whole thing. Jack, you can get to it. I haven't heard anybody say it, but maybe I guess Jack has.
No, Ryan Coogler has spoken about The Thing was one of the biggest inspirations for the film.
I saw a video recently of Kurt Russell and Keith David like meeting up again for the first time in like 20-something years, and I was like, "This is like, I'm about to start crying. Like, this is really important."
It was at Carpenter's.
And you're like, "Oh my god, brother, what's up?" It's like, holy shit.
Still not my favorite Carpenter though.
Well,
yeah.
He made Halloween, for God's sakes.
Nah.
Big Trouble in Little China.
That
is a very good movie.
Love that movie.
You going? They Live?
They Live. They Live is still it's a haunting, riveting, hyper masculine masterpiece. Love that movie. Love it. I also like Vampires, which is a movie that nobody likes.
I like vampires.
Yeah.
Thanks to Craig. Thanks to Jack. Thanks to LaCroix Koozies. Thanks to CR and Van. Great to see you guys as always. Don't forget, you can watch this on the Ringer Movies YouTube channel or as a video podcast on Spotify.
Or beamed right into your retina if you want.
See you next week.